This is YSM Sports Media. Want to thank you for all your love and support. Really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification button for all future content. Alright, so let's start this off. This is not a bias channel. I have no horse in this race, so we're going to call it straight down the middle today. We're going to analyze the situation between Teofimo Lopez and Bob Arum. Now, Teofimo Lopez, 23 years old, 15-0, had a great run. And when I say great run, I mean Nakatomi, Comey, then Vasyl Lomanchenko, arguably the pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Now, I don't really know the details of his contract. What's his minimum? What is he supposed to get? You know, once he won his title, if he got undisputed, what he's supposed to get. So we're going to slightly speculate a little bit, but we're also going based off of majority of what we know. Okay, so the story was Bob Arum offered Teo 1.25, which was his minimum for George Kambosos. Now, Teo was under the impression that as soon as he beat Lomachenko, he'd be able to write his own ticket and that money would fall from the sky. Well, that's not how business works. In this case, Teofimo Lopez and Bob Arum are both right and both wrong. I know, like, more than two things can be true, right? A lot of people are jumping on one side, jumping on the other. You know, F Bob, F Teo, he's spoiled. Bob doesn't want to give out any money. I understand both sentiments, but there's multiple different ways you can look at it, and each person has a leg to stand on, right? So let's look at Teofimo Lopez and this particular fight, right? So Triller wins the purse bid. Teofimo Lopez is going to get, I think, 3.9 million. That's a big difference between 1.25, right? So he gets 3.9, but off the rip, 20% is taken out of with Bob. And then you have to think about 3% per sanctioning body, and he's undisputed, so that's 12%. So we're already at 32%. And then you look at training. You gotta pay your training staff. I don't know if he has a strength and conditioning coach, but let's just say the normal 10% that gets taken out of training. All right, so we're at 42%, and then management. Management could range from 10 to 20%. So Teofimo Lopez is staring at about 62% getting taken out before taxes. A lot of fans don't put themselves in fighters' shoes. They just say, "Oh yeah, he's making $4 million. You know, I'm making $15 an hour. He should be happy." But there's plenty of different ways to look at this particular situation. How would you feel if 62% of that $15 an hour was taken out before you even paid taxes? That's astronomical. Pause for a second. Now imagine if that 62% was taken out of that 1.25. It's a big difference, right? It's a big difference. But Teo, he played ball the way that fans and promoters want you to play ball. Prove yourself first before you start asking for the money, right? Did he not prove himself? He did. 3 tough fights in a row. Won them all. Isn't it time for him to get paid? Now, I know what Teo's issue is. He's staring across the room and he's seeing Ryan and Dev getting paid equal or more than he is. And they haven't fought the kind of opposition that he has. That will make anybody frustrated. Anybody. It will make anybody frustrated. You're told, fight the tough fights, the best fight the best, and then you will be rewarded. But you're seeing people that know how to A, promote themselves, and B, have signed better deals than you signed, reap the benefits without taking the risk. And I feel like that's playing with Teo's head. Now we'll look at Bob. Biggest myth in boxing is that the promoters have all the control. The networks and the managers have a lot of say-so of who fights and when they fight. Another myth is that the promoters actually put up the money for these fights. They do not. The networks do. Now, the smaller ones, yes. When we're on the, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya level, it's the networks. And so the network will give Bob an allotted budget. I don't know whether it's annually or whether it's per fight. And depending on the fight, I would have to look at his deal to really be able to determine that. But let's say let's say the network gave Bob a $2.5 million budget or a $2 million budget for Lopez versus Kambosos. If it's 2.5, Bob offers Teo 1.25, offers Kambosos 750, and tries to pocket the 500. That's how business is done. Bob got to get his taste too. Now, you have to understand that Bob normally gets paid off the gate. He's not getting that. There's no fans. So Bob's taking a hit. The revenue isn't coming in like it was last year, 2 years ago. I'm sorry, before COVID. 2 years ago. It's not coming in like that. So you're not going to get the quality fights you were getting or the frequency that you were getting. People are losing money left and right. And I know fans, we want what we want. And we want to pay as minimum as possible. But you got to understand that these people are in business to make money. Fans, we have this narrative in our head that it's the sport and you're supposed to care about the sport and the legacy. Man, these dudes are trying to get paid. We work a job. We earn a living. I don't care what you do. If you make sandwiches, how would you feel if somebody like, yeah, don't worry about getting paid. You're feeding America. Like, think about it. This shit is laughable. Money first. And right now, Bob isn't making the kind of money that he was making. Now, Bob hasn't been in business for 40 years by being dumb. Okay? Bob Arum is one of the smartest men in the business, if not smartest men in business, period. And he understands the landscape. Now, the problem that Bob has is once you reach a certain level, Bob really doesn't adjust the contracts. It's like he has like a standard contract for each level that you're on. But it doesn't adjust for when you're a superstar. It's like once guys like Cotto, Floyd, Oscar, Manny, once they reach that superstar level, Bob doesn't make the necessary alterations to keep them there. And they all end up leaving. This is what's happening. Bob hasn't made the alterations for this kid, even though he's done everything that Bob's asked. And that's why he won't keep Teofimo Lopez. That's always been Bob's kryptonite. He's stuck in his ways. But also, Teo has to understand Bob's losing money. He's taking a cut. Why can't you? You're in business together. You're partners. You can't expect Bob to be in the red and you being in the black. In order for this train to keep moving, everybody has to make a sacrifice. And right now, Teo doesn't want to make sacrifices. And he's wrong in understanding that maybe the money's just not there. ESPN gets paid off of advertising. Advertisers, the actual advertisers have been losing money because of the pandemic. Therefore, they're not going to pay ESPN the normal rates. Therefore, ESPN's budget to put on shows so advertisers can advertise their products is going to take a hit in the budget. See, from 1 all the way to 10, everybody's going to take a hit. But you got Teo sitting there like, no, not me. I want to raise. So Bob is wrong in the instance that he won't change and structure things once a fighter reaches an elite level, because nobody builds a fighter like Bob. Bob is the best at that. But as soon as you hit superstar level, he leaves a lot to be desired. And Teo Teo's being slightly selfish in the sense that everybody else can take a cut but him. They're both right and they're both wrong. Teo took the risk. Teo should be paid for the risk that he took. But Teo should also understand that this isn't normal circumstances. Bob's losing money. And Bob has to be cognizant of what he's spending and what he's getting back. And that's the sign of a good businessman. But at the same time, Bob, you've lost all your top talent the same way. Something has to give. Like you're a top level promoter, you're not the minor leagues. And that's the impression that you're giving off. You're just the startup guy. And that eventually everybody has to leave you. So if you want to keep your top tier talent, you're gonna have to adjust some things. And that's just my take. I'm normally not this long-winded, but I had to get this out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. YSM Sports Media. We out.